Reprojection is something you'll do a lot when it comes to particularly production models. The reason you would do reprojection is because you have a model here which has all the sculpting, and then you have a model which has no sculpting whatsoever. This model here is just gone through some kind of retopology process. It might have been done with the zero meshing, whatever it is. You can see here that because it has a nice loop around the eyes, this is definitely not pure zero meshing because it wouldn't be able to do this. But we digress. So how do you actually reproject from one subtool to another? This is actually very simple. The way we're going to be doing it is we are going to go to our low res. We can also just name this low res, and we can name this one high res. So now we know what we have. And then for the low res one, just keep in mind we have solo enabled as well, like this. For the low res one, we are going to subdivide this up to an approximately the same poly count as that. So for this, we're going to stick into 1.6, and this is around they're actually exactly the same one. That's cool. A lot of times they're not going to be the same, but we're actually cheating a little and we have the same topology. But get it approximately within the same one. It's better to have a bit too high than a bit too low. Then we are going to go to layers, and then we're going to make a new layer. Technically, you don't really have to use a layer for this. This is just to keep us a bit safer, like what we did with the morph target one. Then we are going to make a morph target. We're going to go to morph targets, and then just make sure we have a morph target stored. And then we are going to go under projection. And here you can see we have the project setting. So you could, in theory, now hit project all, and it's going to straight up project everything. But what you might want to do, you might want to project each subdivision at one time. This generally gives you a better projection. So we are going to be doing that. Let's go down to low subdivision level. Hit Shift D a few times, or we can just drag it from here to here. This is a perfect case where it's a lot faster just to drag it instead of clicking D, 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 D. Now we can just go, and we're there. So now with solo disabled, so we can see both, then we are going to hit project. Now there are a lot of questions as to how does it know where to project from. The rule here is it will project from anything which is visible onto whatever is currently selected. So that keeps it really easy. The order of this is completely irrelevant. The only thing which matters is this is selected, cool, and this is not selected, but it's visible. Then it's going to project from this onto that. Basically, you see here that the high-res one is gray. Just means it's not selected. It means everything which is gray is going to project onto everything which is brighter gray. So let's just do this. We hit project all. And now you can see not a whole lot happened. We can project all again. And now you can see more stuff happen. Project all again. And we can try it one more time and project all. So it takes a little bit more time to do it and project all, but you're going to get far better projections this way. And last one now. So now you can see that we have projected everything from the high-res one onto the low-res one. So just click solo, and now you can see the result. And hopefully everything is okay. Now there might be some areas here which are not okay. Like this place here is not fine. And the reason for this not being fine is you can see here that it's too high up. So if you want to fix this, either you can just smooth it out and you don't care about it, or you can set the distance here to something higher. Set this to something like 0.05 instead, and then we can hit project all again. And now let's see if this here actually fixes the issue. And now you can see that it has projected now, but there are some issues, so we can just smooth this out just a little bit, like so. Or we can go over and we can use the morph brush. This is the reason why we store the morph target in the beginning. Hit BMO. Now you can see that we can just go over and we can just remove all the sculpting and all the projection. Now in this case, we don't really want to do it. And this is generally a pretty good projection. But a lot of times it's going to just screw up completely. There are areas which aren't going to be matching at all. Maybe the eyes, like the inside of the eyes are matching at all. Then we can just go over and we can just paint it out like so. Another thing you can do before projecting is you can make a mask. So if you, for instance, know that the eyes are going to completely screw up, you can just paint a mask like so. You can just hold a control key and just paint a mask. And now there is no way that the projection is going to affect this area. So when it comes to projection, I stick to a combination of masking out the areas which are completely messed up and to just using the morph brush to paint out the areas. Now, the best way you can make sure the projection is good is just to make sure that your new topology actually matches the shape and the sculpt pretty well, which means that you should just sculpt the original model really tightly from the get-go. But if that's not possible, and for instance, you have a mouth which used to be closed and now it's open, the eyes are closed and they used to be open, whatever it might be, the shapes just aren't going to be matching. You really just need to make sure that you have the original projection there. Now, again, the reason we use a layer in this case is because we just want to be safe. So for instance, something happens to the morph target, we might accidentally delete it for use for something else. Now you're like, crap. So just make sure you have it, because now you can always store our new morph target. If something bad happens to it, we can always just hit delete. Then we can go to morph target and we can hit store. And then we can enable the layer again, like so. Just make sure that our poly painting is off. And now we can just go back and just paint it out. So it's only there for extra safety. So to sum this up real quick, the way we do projections is very simple. We make sure that we have a low-res model, which comes straight from zero meshing or manual retopology, whatever it might be. We subdivide it up fully to the highest level, keep the poly count approximately the same. Then we go to we store a layer and we store a morph target at the highest one. Then we go to the lowest level and then we just reproject and next level reproject and so on until you are at the highest level. In order to remove the reprojection, which might screw up completely, then go over and just smooth it out with the morph brush to paint back the original. Or before your projection, you can mask it out by holding down the control key on the areas and your life is going to be so much better. This technique took me like 5 years to actually figure out and to develop properly. So I really hope that this here helps you guys with your reprojection.